Welcome to an all-new season of the OCRL Race Report. I'm your host, Jeff Beckey Jr., alongside my two colleagues for the 2011 A season, Jason Gaines and Scott Ickes. How are you guys doing this evening?
Pretty good.
Doing good.
Great, great. Got a lot to talk about. We had a very exciting nationwide race this past Tuesday night in Daytona. Gotta say, one of the best that I've been a part of.
Yeah, that was just pretty good. We had a lot of drafting. I think we had draft tags throughout the first two round pit stops, and we had a surprise winner, I guess you could say.
Yeah, surprise winner indeed, Scott. It was actually your team, King Crossover Motorsports, going to victory lane with Corey Bunch. Underfunded per se. You guys got Little Caesars jumping on board last minute. The team was a late entry that day, actually, and sent the haulers to the track. Thank God they were close, and had a great showing, honestly. I mean, the car was strong, and for everything to play out like it did, for him to hold off me and Jason, teammates like that, it just goes to show how much potential your team has, and that's with a little bit of money. And I kind of helped you out a little bit getting you entered, and you know what? Don't worry about paying me back. We're all good. So it was a great race, and I'm looking forward to next week in Atlanta. But first off, let's talk about this Daytona race, starting with Jason.
Well, I mean, it's like Scott said, and you both, Jeff, it was one of the best races that I think everybody in that race has been a part of. Very exciting. It was a lot of give and take, something you don't normally see at a super speedway, but it was exciting all the way around. A lot of communications between every team, letting each other know when they're going in, and everybody was on different strategies. Some of them paid off, and some kind of bit them in the butt at the end of it, but all in all, it was a good race, and it's exciting to see the season start off like that.
Yeah, strategy, you said, was important. Listening to my spotters talking about the other spotters up there, the communication was so crisp and so clear all night long, and everybody was on the same page. They wanted to be patient and get to the end, and we had all but two cars finish the race. And Scott had mentioned before that we had a big pack after the first two rounds of green flag pit stops. That's something that you never see. After the first round, everybody's broken up, and if the guys that did lose the draft there after that first pit stop, it was driver error. Austin spun out getting onto pit road and had to regroup. Jason, you sped. We just had a bad stop. Missed a lug, hung a tire. It was bad. So we just had like a 30-second pit stop, and that took us back. And Jason, me, you, and Austin hooked up, and that was a wild ride. And no need to say more about that. And Scott, you were one of the guys that stayed up in the lead group for most of the race, so to speak. So you want to tell us what happened up front?
Yeah, probably first half of that race, first 50, 60 laps, we were out there in front with the lead guys, not really battling for the lead, just kind of, sixth place, somewhere around there, not pressing the issue too much. And then when you, Austin, and Jason were catching us, I think that was probably the end of the pit, the end of that green flag run. That's when everything, it seemed to start breaking up, and I was trying to get, with my teammate Corey, but unfortunately the communication just wasn't there, and he wasn't able to catch, go up on the high lane and tag with us. But I just stayed the course. I thought maybe a caution would come out, but for the people that have been keeping up with the OCRL, they should know that most of our super speedways, we normally don't have too many cautions, so you really couldn't rely on that.
Right, a caution-free race, and for the first time in a while, there weren't people really crying about, hey, we need a caution, because we were all together there, except for the last 20 or so laps when the top three cars broke apart. Me, Jason, and I believe it was Scott, you were pushing, the three of us were pushing our way up to the front, and Jason dropped back to help me and you out. We caught that lead pack like it was nothing with about 20 to go, and latched on to the lead pack, and you, needless to say, you got hung up to dry, so to speak, and tried tried getting Eric and them to help you out. They weren't trying to help, and it just kind of slowed down their momentum. And the top three cars, your driver Corey, myself, and Jason were able to drive away and pull off. And the Mickey brothers were trying something that you don't ever hear of at super speedways, and that's fuel strategy. They were trying to get the edge and trying to make it one more stop, and they came up just a little bit short. Andrew finished sixth, and Eric did get a fourth place out of it. I do believe that Andrew ran out on the last lap, just made it across the line. I'm not completely sure. Do you guys know anything about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I heard my spotter come on radio at the end and say that one of the Mickey brothers had ran out, and but I mean, the fuel strategy would have worked. I know Steve Anders. I taught him out to race, and he said that he was actually on a pit strategy where he only had to make one less stop than everybody else. The only problem was he didn't have a draft partner, so that kind of put him behind the eight ball. But you know, it's like you said, having issues like I did, and Austin and you as well on pit road. It's good to do that early if you're going to do it. If you do it late in the race, you're going to bury yourself in a deep hole you can't get out of. But I like seeing the races end up like they did Tuesday night when you got packs of cars that can get together and run down the leaders.
Yeah, it was very easy to. I know we qualified fourth, and I felt like that was a good qualifying spot for the car that we had, and it wasn't all that. I'm really disappointed in the car that we brought, but I know that our guys worked hard to do what they were able to do, and to qualify fourth, and I went to the outside because I figured, I'm just going to go to the back and cling on. But when I got to the back, my car wasn't able to stick with the draft, and we dropped off. And Sean, myself, and Cody McCorkle, they helped me out, and we all stuck together and kind of maintained, and we did catch the pack back up. And I lost the draft a couple other times, and Jesus came back for me one time, and we got back up there. It just seemed like it was real weird. It was almost like speed comp or something, because if you fell back, it was all right because you could get back up there, no problem. And that's exactly what everybody was able to do. And I think that's why we were having the packs maintaining the big packs. And I want to put a focus real quick on Steve Anders. You had said you talked to him, and I'm not trying to bring back any bad memories, but you guys have had an exciting past few weeks. And it was great to hear you come to me after practice Sunday night and say, I asked you how your car was, and you said, I think it worked better. I think I worked best working with Stevie. And I couldn't believe that you'd said that. And it just goes to show you how, I guess you could say, how close everybody is, because we were able to have, you're able to move on from that.
Yeah, it's
deal.
like, I mean, me and Stevie, he gave me the start in the OCRL. I mean, when I come in, he was the first one to stick a hand out and say, you need a ride. I got one open for you. And that right there kind of stuck with me. But after he had to shut the shop down at Anders Racing, and I moved over to JRM, and we still were good friends and everything. But I think we just got caught up in the moment a couple weeks ago, and we kind of exchanged some words, a lot of which neither one of us meant, and we didn't talk for a couple of days, and I kind of reached out to him and let him know where I stood on things, and he let me where he stood, and we got it worked out, and that's all I wanted. I mean, I don't think neither one of us want to go into a racetrack holding a grudge.
Yeah, exactly. And joining us in the studio right now is the Drive for COPD 300 winner, Corey Bunch. How are you doing this evening, Corey?
Doing great. Sorry for the delay. Got caught up in traffic and, just traveling a lot. Or just today, it's really surprising how much getting a win at Daytona. You just see everything. So.
Oh yeah, I bet the media hasn't left you alone, have they?
They haven't. I still got to make more trips around for the rest of this week or so. But I'm here.
I'm glad you are. Let's ask you about the race Tuesday night. In case you weren't listening in, we were talking about the being able to maintain the draft, the big field, the big packs that were maintained together. If you fell back, it was easy to get back up to the draft and challenge there. You were lucky to be able to stay up front all night long. You led almost the most laps. Actually, Steve Anders beat you by just one lap. But explain the racing from your driver's seat.
Just everybody was very cautious, just trying to see um, this new car, how it's going to do in the draft and whatnot. And I mean, surprisingly, I don't know, but for our car, it just sucked up really good. Um, for the people that was in the back, they'd usually catch up with 2 or 3 cars, mainly because the people up front, they would, just be really consistent, and let off of each other. And, I mean, but what I've known a difference in these cars is that they're just more, they're in a way, and like the Cup cars, they just more sleek in a way, just better off in the draft, I'd say. But that's just my take on it. And the racing, it was just great. I was expecting after the first pit stops, everyone would be all spread out, but surprisingly, we all got back together and we just hooked up, and it was just one big pack again, as it was the start of the race. So it was really interesting though, but just as time went by, everyone started spreading out more and more, and everyone gets separated in different strategies and whatnot.
Throughout the race, Corey, you with the people that you worked with, were you trying to go out there and do what they were doing, whether it was 2 tires or no tires or whatever, or were you kind of on like, we got to take 2 tires, even if somebody else takes no tires, we got to take 2 tires?
By the end of the race, we was going through team radios, like, with Jeff's crew and Jason's and just the rest of them, trying to get communication and whatnot from the end of the race of what they was going to do and whatnot. By that first pit stop, we just didn't take any tires, and we just went fuel on there, and just because I was expecting that everyone would be spread out. And I was the one that made the call. I mean, I'll admit it, and which I don't know if it was either good or bad, but I was just doing that just because, just in case we lost any time or anything like that, we'd be able to gain it back to the pits. But through the end of the race, I'd have either my spotter or just whoever to get in touch with other teams out there, like with the JRM guys and whatnot, and just to see what strategy they was doing and all that. So we'd be over there. Excuse me. So we'd be over there in the end for battle for the win.
Now, Corey, you mentioned before that these new nationwide cars are a lot like the COTs and the Cup Series are, but one thing that personally I noticed is the bumpers don't quite line up like the Cup cars. They're pretty much flat surface, bumper to bumper when you're pushing someone. Now, when I was pushing you, I didn't really seem to have that big of an issue. Some other people were a little different. They were a little iffy pushing through the corners. You say your car sucked up good. When you were pushing others, did you seem to see that effect too?
Yeah, I seen that pretty much in effect also. Like, I didn't really have much problem with boat drafting anybody. I think a couple people probably had trouble trying to button draft me because I'd see them go up the track or having to back off or anything like that, just all that stuff. But the bumpers, they really kind of worried me at the before the race, because we know how Daytona is, just just bumpy in a way, and then just not repaved yet, which I kind of hope they will do that soon. And I was just, I don't know, it just really worried me at some points, but just luckily we got out there in one piece. But yeah, just the one big factor was the bumpers not lining up, and I don't think anyone got turned or anything like that through the 2 car tandems and whatnot. So it's like, I mean, that was kind of a minor concern, but I didn't really pay much attention to it during the race or anything like that. So I couldn't really comment much on it. That's just my take.
Well, Corey, it's been a pleasure having you in the studio. We appreciate your time and thank you for answering the questions. We're going to go ahead and let you celebrate that big win in Daytona this past Tuesday, and good luck next week in Atlanta.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you very much.
And on the other side of the break, we'll be back with in-car audio, race chatter, and what to look for next week in Atlanta, the upcoming race week. Let me ask you this. What is it that I like the most about this league?
I like that feeling in the pit of your stomach on race day, destined for greatness.
I like the sound of 50,000 fans cheering at the top of their lungs because the 88 took the lead.
I like hearing those four famous words, gentlemen, start your engines.
I like that fine line between checkers and wreckers.
Going from green flag to checkered flag, knowing you raced the best and won.
I just like that I'm a part of this league.
This is my.
This is your,
This is our.
our
OCRL. Welcome back to the OCRL Race Report. Again, we're in our new season, just concluding the drive for COPD 300 from Daytona International Speedway. Here are a few clips of what your top three finishers thought about the way their race went. Man, to even finish third is, I guess you could say it was a blessing. I would not be here if it was not for my teammates. Jesus come back for me when he didn't have to, and Sean was helping me up to that point, and we got hooked up with Cody. The four of us were real fast, and we got back up. We had a real bad pit stop, and I thought our race was pretty much done after that. We've been out of these cars. We've never been on track with these new nationwide cars, so we don't know what they're going to do once we get them in traffic.
Tonight's race was an amazing race from my point of view. I mean, we started out on the pole, and the eventual winner of the race, Corey Bunch, he started out outside pole, was on the front row, and I felt like, for the most part, that we were probably the two fastest cars on the track. I'm happy to at least get out of Daytona finally in any kind of series with at least starting a race in a top 10.
Oh, it was just a blast. Man, can't thank all the guys enough. They just never give up. Just King Crossover Motorsports, they just really, truly deserve this. This car was just overall great. Push, lead car, anything. Just anything that, what makes a perfect super speedway car, and just, this is just a thrill to get a win for these guys, because they really do deserve it, despite with all the stuff that's been going on and everything. It's just real good to be able to do this for them. Just that last pit stop, with Jeff and Jason there behind me, I was just thinking, I'm going to end up losing this race because the numbers game's going to come up, and the past has shown that, and it was going to be either way. Top three finish for us, I would be pretty satisfied with it, but I was going to still go for the win. But I mean, I don't know why Jason didn't make a move or anything like that, but I seen him go up a little bit there about the end of 4, and I just moved up the block, and that's all she wrote, and crossed that start-finish line and got her done. So I just real thankful for Little Caesars and for them to jump on board and to be to sponsor us for the rest of this whole season. That's a real accomplishment, and to capitalize on this is real great. Real great.
And next Tuesday, the OCRL Nationwide Series moves north to the Atlanta Motor Speedway in Georgia, where defending winner Andrew Mickey looks to maintain his success, his victory in Atlanta, where he won last season due to fuel mileage. Jason, you guys ran good. Let's start with you. What are you most looking forward about Atlanta, if you're looking forward to it at all?
Oh, I'm most definitely looking forward to it. Other than probably Texas, that's one of my best tracks that I run at. It's like you said last year, I think Jesus and myself, we're running very strong at the end of the race, and fuel mileage come up in biz, but yeah, I'm really excited about getting to Atlanta and unloading the car and just going through the basics of it, because we all know it's a new car, and see how it's going to handle.
Scott, you guys had a DNF there last season. What can you do this season to probably get to the end and contend for a victory?
Well, we gotta bring a good chassis to the truck, and or to the track, and just do what we gotta do as far as preparation, or just getting out there and running good. You can't get into any trouble, early in the race. You gotta be smart about things, and we know last season, our truck season, a while back, I just had trouble at some of these tracks, so we just gotta be cautious throughout the race and make it to the end.
For me, Atlanta's all about the guys in the engine shop. If you can't bring a good engine to Atlanta, you can forget about everything. You can have a good handling car, but if you don't have the power plant, you pretty much can't do much with it. You need to be able to sail off into the corners at about, in these new cars, 200, and if you're over 200, you're doing something. You need to be able to get down to the center, and then from the center on out, you need to hammer down, and the car needs to be able to pull it down the back stretch or down the front stretch and hit as many RPMs as it can without tearing any valves or anything. And those are the keys of the race. You're hearing it from 3 drivers here. We all know what we're talking about, and I'm looking forward to Atlanta myself. Personally for me, we got a new associate sponsor coming on board, so we're going to try to run well with them, and I know Corey's going to try to maintain his points lead, and Scott and I and Jason, everybody's going to be trying to do that. With the new point system, everything's close together. You cannot make any mistakes. So it's going to be full-blown all along, starting with Atlanta. Everybody's going to be wanting that. We got knockout qualifying. It's just getting started, guys, and it was a fun race report. Looking forward, we have Bristol Thursday night. The Canon Pro Series will be headed to Tennessee. And next Saturday night, the OCRL Truck Series will be under the lights in Daytona, beginning that season, the 2011 B season for the Truck Series.
Well, we had your first good nationwide race, and hopefully that continues throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, the K&N series is most people know, and especially the guys that's racing that series, it's going to be all short tracks. That's going to make for very exciting racing. The Truck Series is returning once again to the OCRL next Saturday night. Like Jeff mentioned, it's going to be an exciting series too. I can't wait.
We got to thank Corey Bunch for making an appearance this week on the OCRL Race Report. Got to thank the 12 drivers who participated this week in the Drive Force COPD 300. And on behalf of everyone here at the OCRL Studios, I'm Jeff Backey Jr.
I'm Scott Dickus.
And I'm Jason Gaines.
And we'll see you next week from Hotlanta.